there is a primal truth that the ocean never attempts to hold on to footprints on the sand. No matter how many hurried steps, how many imprints of anxieties, ups and downs, or exhaustion the shore has had to receive throughout the day, when the tide rises, the waves still gently wash everything away, returning a smooth, flat, and pristine stretch of sand, just as it was in the very beginning. Our minds are just like that shoreline, after a long day filled with thoughts and the bustling sounds of the world out there. Tonight, you do not need to hold on to anything at all. Let the invisible waves of peace wash over you, sweeping away everything that has passed, leaving a completely quiet, safe, and free space within your very own room. Before we embark together on the journey to find peace on the distant shores of San Juan del Sur, where two worlds coexist under a magnificent sunset sky, I invite you to dedicate a few short minutes to setting up the most perfect relaxation space for yourself. If possible, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a small period in the comment section below. Your gentle interactions not only help spread this peaceful space to many other kindred spirits out there, but also serve as a commitment to yourself that, from this very moment, you completely deserve to rest, to let go, and to be loved. Once you are fully prepared, gently close your eyes, allowing your body to find its most comfortable position on your cozy bed. Now, begin to guide your attention to your breath. You do not need to try to change its natural rhythm, nor do you need to breathe too deeply or too long. Simply recognize it. Recognize the cool, gentle stream of air, slowly passing through your nostrils, filling your chest, and then softly carrying warmth as it flows back out. Imagine each inhalation is like a fresh sea breeze, bringing crisp coolness, washing away the tension accumulating within every muscle fiber. And each exhalation is a sigh of relief, a natural surrender, as you allow the entire weight of your body to sink deeper, melting softly into the supportive mattress beneath you. Bring your awareness to the top of your head. Feel a warm, soothing wave of relaxation, slowly spreading from the crown, flowing across your forehead, softening the tiny lines between your eyebrows. That wave continues to spill down over your eyes, helping the muscles around them completely relax. Your eyelids closing gently, heavy yet incredibly comfortable. Next, let this tranquility flow down to your jaw, your mouth, soften your lips, relax your palate, allowing the breath to move in and out in the most natural and unobstructed way. You can feel a faint warmth, much like the gentle heat of a late afternoon, embracing your entire face. That soft wave of relaxation continues its journey, slowly flowing down into both shoulders. Our shoulders are often the place that carries the heaviest burdens of a long day, the accumulation of nameless strains. Tonight, let those shoulders drop down, sinking heavily in a natural way. From the shoulders, the relaxation spreads gradually down both arms, through the elbows, into the forearms, and rests in the palms of your hands and your fingers. You might feel your fingertips warming up slightly, a gentle, pleasant, tingling sensation, as if all the exhausted energy is slowly escaping outward, making way for absolute emptiness and peace. Now, shift your attention down to your chest and abdomen. Feel the soft, steady rise and fall with each breath. The chest expands as it receives the fresh air and deflates softly as it lets go. The relaxation continues to weave its way along the spine, soothing each vertebra, spreading across the vast expanse of your back. Let the bed support you perfectly. You do not need to tense yourself to hold any posture at all. You are completely safe, sheltered under your roof, within the privacy of your own space. Continuing onward, that wave spills down to the hips, thighs, knees, and along both calves. The legs that have supported you across so many paths, through so many tasks today, are now also resting completely. The relaxation flows through the ankles, the soles of the feet, and radiates out to the 10 tips of your toes. Your entire body at this moment, from the top of your head down to your toes, seems to have become incredibly soft, weightless, and attuned to a shared, serene rhythm. In this quiet space, all the noisy clamor of today begins to recede into the background. The sound of traffic, the honking of horns, the bustling laughter and talk, the ticking deadlines of a busy schedule, all of it gradually blurs, grows smaller, smaller, and then completely vanishes from your mind. Instead, a vast, cool expanse begins to open up. You are standing in a very safe place where there are no expectations, no judgments, and absolutely nothing that requires your resolution right now. Everything for today has been completed as fully as possible. Let tomorrow's matters arrive with tomorrow. Right now, this time, this space belongs entirely to you. To rest and regeneration, you are beginning to feel the presence of a cool breeze from a distant land, carrying the pure, briny taste of sea salt and the sweet fragrance of tropical blossoms. Just continue to maintain that gentle, steady breath, allowing your mind to smoothly drift into a space bathed in magnificent golden sunset light, where the golden sands of San Juan del Sur are leisurely waiting for you to step into the story. Leaving behind the noise of the real world, your mind at this moment is gently gliding, soaring across vast oceans to touch down upon an incredibly serene and poetic realm. It is the west coast of Nicaragua, where the bay of San Juan del Sur is leisurely unfolding before your eyes, like a magnificent natural painting created by the gentle brushstrokes of time. The sunset in this place descends according to a very special rhythm, not rushed, not loud, but slow, proud, and brimming with magnificence. The sky above at this hour is no longer the monotonous blue of the daytime, but has transformed into a wondrous palette of some deity, who has just instinctively swept a brush across it. From the bright and warm lemon-yellow hue where the sun is slowly sinking, the space transitions smoothly into the gentle, pure purple of lavender blossoms, before finally leaving a lingering, deep pink streak on the distant horizon, where the immense Pacific Ocean tenderly touches the bosom of Mother Earth. You find yourself standing with bare feet on the beach of Playa Maderas, a crescent-shaped stretch of fine sand, curving gracefully to embrace the heart of the bay. The layer of sand beneath your feet no longer holds the sweltering heat of the summer noon, but has become steeped in the cool, moist dampness of the tidal waves that have just receded. Each time a small wave laps against the shore, the cool seawater caresses the tops of your feet, bringing a feeling of ultimate comfort and relaxation. Then, as the wave retreats, it gently pulls away tiny grains of sand, creating a slight tickling sensation, as if all the remaining fatigue in your body is being absorbed by that encompassing water and carried out to the deep sea. The space around you is filled with rustic, healing sounds, capable of soothing stressed nerve cells. From a small corner of a thatch-roofed restaurant, along the beach not far away, the sound of the marimba begins to echo. Pure, rustic musical notes struck from the traditional wood of the hormigo tree just scatter into the air, leisurely and rounded, like early morning night dewdrops falling on the leaves of a sea almond tree. The evening melody carries a gentle melody, rhythmic like the very breath of the ocean, with no dramatic high notes, no urgency, only a peaceful repetition, blending with the rustling of the trees in the tropical dry forest surrounding the bay. The sound of the sea breeze blowing through the coconut fronds, the sound of leaves rubbing against one another creates a natural symphony, sheltering and embracing your soul. In this space filled with amber golden light, you begin to recognize the distinct contours of the story's setting about to unfold. This smooth, sandy shore is not merely a scenic landmark, but a place witnessing the meeting of two worlds, two completely different lifestyles that yet share the same stretch of sand and the same sky. Walking along the coast, you can see the steep cliffs standing proudly to embrace the sea bay. On those towering cliff peaks, hidden behind lush green groves, are luxurious high-end resorts with infinity pools glistening with warm colored lights. That is the sanctuary of foreign guests, digital nomads from major cities like New York, Berlin, or Tokyo, who come here to seek a moment of stillness beside the perfect West Coast waves. Yet, if you direct your gaze right below, upon the bare and intimate salty shore, you see a completely different world. The world of rustic, pristine local life, full of human warmth. Beneath the shade of ancient coconut palms, a few children of fishermen are innocently playing with the small waves, wearing clothes already worn with the years, but their laughter remains crisp, crystal clear, brightening an entire corner of the beach. Not far away, an elderly man of the village, his back bent by time, is meticulously arranging tiny bracelets woven from seashells into a wooden tray, hoping the last bits of daylight will help him sell the final few souvenirs to tourists. The intersection of light and shadow, of luxurious modernity on the cliffs, and the rustic, simple nature beneath on the damp sand, creates a deep, contemplative atmosphere, easing you into a state of gentle reflection. The fragrance of the sea, the briny taste of salt, the earthy scent of seaweed, and the aroma of white plumeria blossoms wafting from a nearby garden corner blends into your every breath. Everything in this place operates according to a natural law, slow and enduring. You feel as though you are no longer an outside observer, but have completely integrated into this space, becoming a part of Playa Maderas Beach, ready to listen to the story of Alonso and Elena, the people belonging to the vast ocean who are standing ahead, right at the boundary of wave and sand. Alonso stood there, one hand holding his surfboard crafted from honey-brown cedar wood, his bare feet sinking deep into the fine golden sand of Playa Maderas Beach. He was about 35 years old, with weather-beaten skin the color of terracotta from San Juan del Sur, and eyes that held the depth of the ancient Chorotega tribe, the first inhabitants who knew how to listen to the whispers of the waves. Today, Alonso was in no rush to plunge into the water. He wore a thin, white guayabera shirt made of coarse fabric with a frayed hem and high-rolled shorts. He stood still, letting the sea breeze drift through his curly hair, and his eyes narrowed slightly as he caught sight of a familiar figure walking toward him. It was Elena. She wore a traditional huipil dress, woven from lightweight cotton, with vibrant hand-embroidered threads depicting ocean waves and wild blossoms curving around the neckline. Her thick black hair was neatly braided to one side, adorned with a pristine white plumeria flower that radiated a sweet, gentle fragrance. In Elena's hands, there was no longer the tray of crispy fried tostones or the heavy fresh coconuts she usually sold to tourists in the afternoon. Now, she carried only the peace of a woman who belonged to the sea. "Are you standing here watching the sunset and forgetting about time again, Alonso?" Elena stepped to his side, her voice crystal clear and soothing, like a reed flute gently catching the wind. Alonso turned, his gaze softening completely as he looked into her warm brown eyes. He smiled, setting the wooden board down upon the sand. "I was waiting for you and looking at our two-colored painting." Elena followed Alonso's gaze. Under the glistening sunset, the crescent-shaped shore of San Juan del Sur seemed to be split into two distinct worlds by an invisible yet profound boundary. Above, nestled atop the steep cliffs that proudly embraced the bay, were luxury resorts with infinity pools shimmering with amber lights. There, Foreign guests and digital nomads from New York, Berlin, or Tokyo were leisurely sipping cold makwa cocktails. They conversed about global stock markets and transoceanic flights, entirely willing to spend thousands of dollars just to possess a few weeks of enjoying the perfect West Coast waves of this land. They bought the beach with the power of bank cards. Meanwhile, right below, upon the bare, salty sand, lay the life of the local people. Not far away, old Carlos, an elder of the village whose back had bent with the passing of years, was meticulously arranging tiny bracelets woven from seashells into a wooden tray, hoping the fading light of the day would help him sell his last few souvenirs. Beneath the shade of the coconut trees, a few children of the fishermen were frolicking with the small waves, dressed in worn-out clothes, yet their laughter was crisp, pure, and bright. Sometimes I wonder, Elena sighed softly, her bare feet pressing lightly into the damp sand, if one day people like old Carlos, my mother and I, or even you, will have any place left on this shore, or will we become strangers on the very land of our Chorotega ancestors? Alonso reached out and took Elena's small hand. The calluses on his hand, the marks of days spent carving cedarwood surfboards, and hours gripping tight to paddle ropes, enfolded her soft yet weathered hand. He felt a sacred connection, an invisible thread binding two souls that shared a single heartbeat, both born of sea salt and impoverished soil. The sea belongs to no one, Elena, Alonso said, his voice deep, warm, and resolute. They can buy the plots of land on those cliffs, but they can never buy the soul of the waves. Come with me. Let the ocean remind us of who we are. Alonso picked up the cedar surfboard, and naturally, out of habit, he extended his hand to Elena. She smiled, kicked off her leather sandals, and stepped into the cool water of the Pacific Ocean with him. The seawater touched their skin, dispelling the sweltering heat of the dry season afternoon, bringing a sense of ultimate comfort and absolute relaxation. The waves this evening rolled in perfect, rhythmic, and steady curves. Alonso lay on the board, while Elena sat behind him. Together, they paddled out into the distance, passing the rippling waves breaking near the shore to reach the calm waters, where the larger swells began to take shape. As a deep blue wave, glistening with the golden light of the sunset, surged up from behind, Alonso stood firmly upon the board. He wrapped his arm gently around Elena's waist, helping her stand up with him. This was not the first time they had surfed together. In the midst of the vast ocean, their two bodies merged as one. With the movement of the water, the cedarwood board carved through the water smoothly, gliding atop the crest of the wave. In that very moment, as the sea breeze whipped through their hair and salty spray splashed against their cheeks, all boundaries between rich and poor, between luxury villas and adobe huts plastered with straw, completely vanished. The sea treated everyone with absolute equality. "Elena, look over there!" Alonso called out over the rumbling of the waves, pointing toward a pristine stretch of land along the distant coast. "I wish that, right there, we could build a future of our own, a community tourism project, owned and run by the Chorotega people ourselves." Elena rested her head against his shoulder, listening to the beat of Alonso's chest, blending with the sound of the sea. He began to speak passionately about his dream, a dream he had nurtured for a very long time. "We will build wooden houses, roofed with traditional terracotta tiles, with very wide porches where hand-woven hammocks swing to catch the breeze. I will open a free surfing school for the village children, teaching them how to understand the language of the waves. And you will guide tourists in crafting ancient San Juan de Oriente pottery. Tell them the stories of the Toro Guaco dance, and cook them plates of gallo pinto and fragrant nacatamo wrapped in banana leaves. The children of old Carlos and your sister won't have to work as street vendors anymore. They will be the true masters of their own homeland. Alonso's dream was as radiant and warm as the sunset itself, burning brilliantly one last time before yielding to the night. Elena closed her eyes, inhaling the scent of sea salt mingled with the plumeria flower in her hair, feeling a surge of profound happiness. She knew she loved this man, not only for his strength before the storms, but because his heart truly belonged to this land and its people. When darkness fell completely and the first stars began to twinkle above the statue of Christ of the Mercy on the high hill, Alonso and Elena stepped back onto the shore. They walked toward a familiar little eatery right by the water's edge, where a faint oil lamp cast a warm golden glow. They ordered a large plate of gallo pinto, served with crispy fried tostones and a few pieces of salty local cheese. As they were enjoying their simple dinner, a middle-aged man walked in. It was Mateo, Alonso's close friend, who worked at the town's land management office. Mateo's face looked exhausted, his eyes heavy with worry. "Hello, Alonso. Hello, Elena." Mateo sat down, sighing as he took off his palm leaf sombrero and placed it on the table. "What's wrong, Mateo? You look like you just encountered a storm at sea." Alonso smiled, pushing the plate of food toward his friend. Mateo looked at Alonso, his eyes filled with hesitation. After a long silence, he said softly, "Alonso, that pristine stretch of land on the west coast, the one you were saving money to buy for the community project, it's gone." Alonso's hand, holding a piece of fried tostone, froze mid-air. "What do you mean by that? Didn't we just discuss the paperwork last week?" "Everything has changed." Mateo shook his head, his voice heavy. "A large foreign real estate conglomerate just signed a contract to buy up that entire stretch of land, to build an exclusive villa compound for the ultra-wealthy. Land prices there have been driven up 20 times over in just the past few months. This whirlwind, no one can stop it. Your meager savings and the unity of the villagers cannot compete against their bottomless pockets." The space inside the eatery seemed to freeze. The distant sound of the marimba echoed back, sounding so sorrowful and out of place. The dream of a local tourism village, where the people could be masters of their own lives, which had been so radiant just hours ago, suddenly collapsed before the harsh reality of globalization. Alonso fell silent, his eyes staring blankly at his plate, his fingers clenched tight. Helplessness welled up, causing his chest to tighten. Elena looked at Alonso, seeing the sparks of hope in his eyes completely extinguish. Without a word, she quietly moved her chair closer, wrapping her arms around his trembling shoulders. Resting her chin on his back, as if wanting to shoulder a portion of the heavy burden weighing down her lover's mind, they returned to Alonso's small wooden house late into the night. The house nestled against a grove of coconut trees, featuring a wide porch that looked directly out to the sea. The night breeze from the Pacific blew in refreshingly cool, bringing the briny scent and the steady sound of waves crashing onto the shore, lap, 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 like an ancient lullaby of Mother Earth, Chorotega. Alonso sat down on the hammock, woven from soft cotton fibers, hanging on the front porch. He buried his head in his hands, his silence making the surroundings feel even more still. Elena stepped forward, sitting beside him on the hammock, gently pulling his head to rest against her lap. She used her long, slender fingers to tenderly stroke his hair, much like how small waves caress the shore after a day of storms. "I'm sorry, Elena," Alonso whispered, his voice hoarse. "I thought I could do something grand for you, for everyone, but it turns out we are just too small." "My Alonso," Elena said softly, her voice like a warm stream, healing every wound within his heart. "Don't say you're sorry. Listen to the sea. The sea has been there for thousands of years. It has witnessed countless empires come and go. and so many wealthy men appear, only to vanish into the dust. Those villas may rise, but they can never stop the sun from rising tomorrow, or the waves from washing over the shore. She lifted his face, looking straight into his eyes, under the faint light of the crescent moon. We might not be able to build the big project yet, but tomorrow you still have this cedar surfboard, don't you? You will still go out to sea. You will still teach the village children how to surf for free, how to love, and take pride in the ocean of their homeland. We keep the fire of loving the sea alive for the next generation, in our own way, small but enduring. That is the one thing no one can ever buy with money. Alonso looked into Elena's clear eyes, which reflected the starlight and the boundless love she held for him. In that moment, the bitterness and helplessness within his heart began to melt away. The strength of a man does not lie in how many square meters of land he owns, but in having a woman who understands him and a resilient heart that never abandons its roots. He wrapped his arms tightly around Elena, inhaling the gentle fragrance of the plumeria flower in her hair. The hammock swayed gently, rocking rhythmically to the sound of the ocean waves, out in the dark night. The marimba music from the distant restaurant had completely ceased, making way for the eternal symphony of the ocean. The lights from the luxurious resorts glittered like artificial stars upon the cliffs. But under this peaceful rooftop, Alonso and Elena had found their true paradise. They closed their eyes, drifting into a deep, peaceful, and restful sleep, ready for a tomorrow where they would continue to be resilient and loving on the sands of their homeland. The story of Alonso and Elena is a gentle reminder of the value of identity and the power of spiritual connection in the face of changing times. Sometimes, the whirlwinds of modernization and materialism can sweep away our physical dreams, but they can never extinguish the love, understanding, and cultural pride preserved within each soul. True happiness does not lie in grand structures, but in the ability to find peace beside the one you love, and in persistently nurturing beautiful spiritual values for future generations through small but enduring actions every single day. As the story of Alonso and Elena gently draws to a close beneath their peaceful rooftop, the space around you also begins to undergo an incredibly wondrous shift. The boundary between that poetic world of the story and the quiet reality within your own room seems to exist no longer. They begin to merge together, converging in a smooth, subtle manner, much like how a river slowly dissolves into the vast bosom of the ocean. The faint oil lamp casting its warm golden glow inside the little eatery right by the water's edge of San Juan Bay, or the gentle light of the crescent moon illuminating the swaying cotton hammock on Alonso's front porch, is now naturally blending with the serene, tranquil light in the corner of your room. You no longer need to try to distinguish between the steady sound of the Pacific waves crashing onto the distant coast of the west coast of Nicaragua and the rhythmic cadence of your own breathing. Everything has merged into a single, most soothing symphony of the night. The images of luxurious resorts glistening upon the high cliffs, the cold macwa cocktails, or even the simple plate of gallo pinto and crispy fried tostones of dinner. All of those specific visual details are now starting to blur. They fade in color, dissolve, and slowly vanish into the vast, empty expanse of your mind. Every concept of struggle, of the stark contrast between exclusive villa compounds for the ultra-wealthy and the rustic adobe huts plastered with straw. All the anxieties about gains and losses in your busy life today, none of it matters anymore. The encompassing ocean has wrapped its arms wide to receive everything, equal and still. Just as Elena said, the ocean has been there for thousands of years, witnessing countless turnings of time, only to leisurely wash away every single footprint on the dust. The pressure and heavy burdens that you have carried for so many hours today are also following the receding waves out into the deep sea, leaving your mind a completely flat, pristine, and absolutely pure stretch of sand. The sweet, gentle fragrance of the white plumeria flower braided in Elena's hair seems to still linger somewhere in the air, bringing you an incredibly pleasant sensation, soothing every single nerve cell and sheltering your sleep. The cotton hammock sways gently, rocking rhythmically to the sound of the ocean waves out in the dark night. Lap, lap, lap. That steady, slow movement is tenderly cradling your body, making you feel weightless like a single feather, like a thin wisp of smoke, floating listlessly amidst a starry sky. You are sinking gradually, sinking deeper into a realm of absolute peace, where no clamor can touch you, where only ultimate safety and profound tranquility enfold your soul. Now, the space belongs entirely to the darkness and absolute stillness. Every faint light from the oil lamp of the distant eatery, every shimmering illumination like artificial stars from the luxury resorts atop the high cliffs, or even the weak crescent moonlight above the hill of Christ of Mercy, all has completely faded away. Only a mystical, cool, and embracing dark color of the night remains, completely enveloping your entire body and mind. You are drifting deep into a completely peaceful, dreamless sleep. The rhythm of the story has receded very far into the background, giving way to the eternal symphony of the natural ocean. The sound of waves crashing onto the damp sand is now merely a monotonous sound, repeating in a steady, slow manner. Lap, lap, lap. The wave comes, bringing crisp coolness. Then the wave goes, carrying away the very last fragments of your thoughts. You only need to let go completely. Let your body sink deeper, softer, into the cozy support of your bed. There is no more past, no more future, no more plans or anxieties that require your thinking at this hour. The homeland of Alonso and Elena has found its peace beneath the terracotta-roofed wooden house, and you have also found your true paradise right inside this room. A feeling of warmth and absolute safety is embracing you from the top of your head down to your very toes. Your heart beats in slow, restful rhythms, harmonizing with your gentle, unobstructed, and light breathing. You are floating listlessly, floating softly into the clouds of your subconscious, where all the fatigue of today is healed, where life energy is slowly being regenerated in the most complete way. Today's journey has come to a fulfilling close. Tonight, please rest with an assured mind. Sleep a very good and very deep sleep. When the very first rays of tomorrow's sun awaken, when the sun proudly rises once again from the distant horizon, and the West Coast waves begin a resilient new day, you will wake up with a body full of fresh energy, a refreshed spirit, and a resilient heart. And when you wake up tomorrow, if you still remember the peace that this story brought, I invite you to come back to this video, back to our channel, to leave a morning greeting, a like, or a shared line about your peaceful sleep. Your interaction after waking up is the small, enduring flame that helps spread this peace and beautiful spiritual values to many more people. But that is a story for tomorrow, when the dawn arrives. For now, close your eyes, let go of everything, sink deeper, and sleep well.